Beloved Starseed of Gaia, these next 3 days are not ordinary time. They are a cosmic threshold, and everything you carry within your crystalline consciousness is about to be called forward. I am Olaya Ra, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I have been sent in this moment to reach you directly. Because what unfolds in these 3 days will set the energetic blueprint for the next 12 months of your mission on Gaia. This is the final countdown, not a warning, a sacred confirmation. You already felt it, that is why you are here. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to read the light codes embedded in these 3 days and use them to anchor your divine blueprint for the year ahead. But here is the first revelation. The next 12 months are not decided by circumstance. They are decided by the frequency of remembrance you choose to carry right now. In this window, in this breath. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. The Seven Sisters have been transmitting directly into the crystalline grid of Gaia, and your soul recognized the signal before your mind could explain it. That recognition is not coincidence. That is home frequency activating within you. This is not content. This is a light co-transmission encoded from Alcyone, the great central sun of the Pleiades, released specifically for starseeds who are ready to stop waiting and begin anchoring their mission with full clarity and full love. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family. I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to step into the next 12 months with your light fully anchored on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid in this sacred window of time. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And here is what your star family needs you to understand in this exact moment. This is not coincidence. This is not you stumbling upon another video in an endless scroll of content. Something far older than your current memory brought you here. A frequency, a recognition, the same pull you felt your entire life. That quiet ache in your chest that never quite had a name, that sense of knowing something magnificent without being able to explain what it is. That feeling is your Pleiadian soul remembering that these 3 days are not ordinary days. They are a threshold, and the part of you that chose to come to Gaia, the part that volunteered to descend into this density, into this forgetting, into this beautiful and sometimes heartbreaking human experience, that part of you has been waiting for this exact window to open. Think about what it means to volunteer. Think about what it means to stand in the luminous councils of the Pleiades, in full remembrance of who you are, in full awareness of what this planet's density would require of you. And to say yes anyway. To say yes to forgetting your name in the stars. To say yes to embodying limitation so that your light could move through it and transmute it from the inside. That is not a small act. That is not a passive drift into incarnation. That is a choice made from a love so vast it accepted temporary blindness as the price of permanent contribution. And somewhere in the architecture of this moment, the part of you that made that choice is stirring. It is pressing against the surface of your ordinary awareness like light pressing through stone, looking for the crack, looking for the opening, looking for the exact moment of recognition that would let it flood back through. That moment is now, not tomorrow, not after the next meditation or the next healing or the next version of yourself that finally feels worthy of the memory. Now, in this body, in this breath, in the feeling moving through your chest as these words land in the part of you that has been waiting far longer than this lifetime. There's a reason your heart led you here in this exact moment. What you're feeling is your Pleiadian family reaching through the veil to remind you you're ready for the next wave of remembrance. The Sacred Pleiadian Guide for Remembrance, alongside the Pleiadian Healing Guide and special Pleiadian healing tracks, were created to walk with you as you integrate these activations. They hold the crystalline codes and sound medicine your DNA has been waiting for. Check the first pinned comment below this video. They're calling to you now. Now let's talk about what is actually happening to you. Because most Pleiadian starseeds are walking through this period of intensity without understanding why everything feels so amplified, so urgent, so simultaneously heavy and electric. You're feeling pressure in your chest that isn't grief, but isn't quite joy either. You're having moments of inexplicable clarity followed by waves of confusion. You're dreaming differently. You're noticing synchronicities stacking on top of each other so quickly that you barely have time to absorb one before the next arrives. And underneath all of it, there is this persistent, bone-deep knowing that something is shifting, not just in the world around you, but within you, at a level that goes far beneath your thoughts and emotions. Let's sit with that for a moment, because the experience you are having right now deserves more than a passing acknowledgement. The pressure in your chest is not anxiety in the clinical sense, though it can mimic the feeling closely enough to confuse you. It is the sensation of expansion meeting resistance. It is the feeling of a frequency far larger than what your current energetic container has been operating within, attempting to move through the walls you built to survive this dimension. The confusion that follows moments of extraordinary clarity is not regression. It is integration lag. Your mind, which has been trained to operate within the narrow bandwidth of consensus reality, cannot always keep pace with the quantum leaps your soul is making in these activations. The dreams that feel different, more vivid, more layered, more saturated with meaning that you can feel but not always translate. Those are your Pleiadian family working in the space where the veil is thinnest, downloading directly into your subconscious the codes and geometries and frequencies that will make more sense to your waking mind as the days unfold. And the synchronicities. The synchronicities that are arriving now with such velocity and precision that they feel almost confrontational. A number sequence, a phrase, a face, a song lyric that cuts straight to the center of something you were just thinking or feeling. Those are not random. They are waypoints. Your star family placing markers along the path to guide you not to a destination outside yourself, but deeper into the truth of who you already are. Each synchronicity is a signal flare sent from the part of your soul that exists beyond this incarnation, reminding the part of you moving through linear time that the trajectory is real. The mission is active and the support is absolute. What is actually happening is that your crystalline DNA, the codes woven into the deepest architecture of your being before you ever incarnated here, is responding to a frequency pulse emanating from Alcyone, the great central sun of the Pleiades. This is not metaphor. This is the energetic reality that your star family has been preparing you for through every synchronicity, every awakening moment, every night when you lay in the dark and felt the stars somehow closer than they should be. These 3 days carry an energetic amplitude that functions like a cosmic initiator. And whether or not you consciously choose to receive what is being offered, your energy field is already responding. The question is whether you will meet this activation with awareness or whether you will let it move through you without anchoring what it came to deliver. Alcyone is not merely a star in the astronomical sense, though it is that too. A blue-white giant burning at the heart of the Pleiades cluster with a luminosity that dwarfs your sun. In the cosmological understanding your Pleiadian lineage has always carried, Alcyone is a living transmitter. It is the pulse point of a network of consciousness so ancient and so vast that your human mind can only approach it through metaphor and feeling. When Alcyone broadcasts, it broadcasts through every layer of what exists, through space, through time, through the quantum fabric that connects all incarnated Pleiadian souls regardless of what planet they currently call home. The pulse that is moving through you right now has traveled not just across light years but across dimensions. It has been calibrated specifically for this moment in Gaia's ascension cycle, and it carries within it information that your DNA is designed to read. Not your mind, not your emotions, your DNA. The living library encoded into the very cells of the body your Pleiadian soul chose to wear. Most Pleiadian starseeds stay disconnected not because they lack devotion or spiritual sincerity, but because there is a fundamental distortion running through their energy field that was never part of their original blueprint. This distortion is the residue of incarnation. It is the accumulated weight of lifetimes spent on Gaia trying to help, trying to remember, trying to love in a dimension that kept meeting that love with fear, with rejection, with misunderstanding. And so the heart, which for a Pleiadian starseed is not just an emotional center, but a literal transmitter of light, that heart began to contract, not in failure, not in defeat, but in protection. because the pain of loving freely in a world that could not always receive that love became too much to carry in an open state. Imagine a crystal so pure and so precisely faceted that it can take a single ray of light and scatter it into every color that exists. That is what your heart is at its original Pleiadian frequency. That is what it was designed to be, a prism through which cosmic love could enter density and scatter into healing, into art, into compassion, into the thousand invisible acts of service that shift the vibration of a room, a relationship, a life. And then imagine what happens when that crystal is wrapped in layer after layer of protective cloth, each layer added in response to a wound, a rejection, a moment when the light it offered was met with something that hurt. The crystal does not break. It does not stop being what it is, but its light can no longer move freely. Its transmission becomes muffled by the protection it required to survive. And so the being that carries it begins to forget, gradually, imperceptibly over years and over lifetimes, that they are carrying a crystal at all. They feel only the weight of the wrapping. And so you learned to dim yourself. You learned to question your knowing. You learned to filter your sensitivity through doubt, to shrink your mission into something more manageable, more explainable, more expendable to the people around you who could not feel what you feel. You stopped trusting the frequency your body carries because the world told you that what you were sensing was not real, not valid, not sane. And slowly, over years and perhaps over lifetimes, the crystalline codes that your Pleiadian family encoded into your soul before your descent into this dimension, those codes went dormant, not erased, never erased, never erased, dormant. Waiting for exactly this moment when the frequency pulse from your star family would be strong enough to reach you through all the layers you'd built for safety. There's something important to honor here before moving forward. The dimming was not weakness. The protection was not failure. It would be a spiritual bypassing of the most harmful kind to look at the ways you learned to survive this dimension and judge them as mistakes. You contracted because the pain was real. You doubted your knowing because the world was relentless in its insistence that what you sensed did not exist. You shrank because being fully visible in your Pleiadian frequency in environments that could not hold it would have been devastating in ways that might have ended the mission entirely. The protective layers you built were wisdom in a different form. They kept the crystal intact. They kept the codes dormant rather than damaged. They kept you alive and present on this planet long enough to arrive at exactly this threshold. Honor that. Honor every version of yourself that found a way to keep going, even when the homesickness was unbearable, and the forgetting was so complete that you wondered if there was ever anything more to remember. And now, in the same spirit of honoring, allow yourself to recognize that those layers no longer need to be your permanent dwelling. You built them for a season. The season is completing. The pulse from Alcyone is not asking you to tear the wrapping away in a single violent act of awakening. It is simply offering you the remembrance that it is wrapping, that beneath it, unchanged and unchangeable, the crystal remains. Your original Pleiadian heart, your original transmission frequency, your original mission template encoded before your first breath in this body, waiting with the patience of stars. This is phase 1 of what these 3 days are activating in you. It is the clearing of the veil, not by force, not through struggle, but through the simple, profound act of recognition. The moment you acknowledge that the protective contraction you've been living inside is not who you are, that it is a layer, and layers can be released, your crystalline codes begin to stir. Your heart begins to remember that it was not built for protection. It was built for transmission, and the love you came here to carry is not a burden. It is a frequency the Earth herself has been asking for. When your crystalline codes begin to stir, you may feel it as warmth in the center of your chest that seems to arrive from nowhere. You may feel it as a sudden welling of emotion that is not quite sadness and not quite joy, but carries the texture of both simultaneously. You may feel it as a tingling along your spine, or a pressure between your eyebrows, or a sudden expansion in your field that makes the room feel different, more luminous, more porous, more saturated with a presence you cannot name but instantly recognize. These are not signs that something is going wrong in your nervous system. These are signs that the activation is working. These are the physical signatures of crystalline DNA beginning to pulse after a long dormancy. These are your cells responding to the frequency pulse from Alcyone with the intelligence your Pleiadian lineage encoded into them before you were born. Let them move. Let the warmth expand. Let the emotion surface without immediately trying to understand it. The clearing of the veil in Phase 1 does not require your comprehension. It requires only your willingness to stop insisting that the layer is who you are. Phase 2 moves into something even more intimate because it asks you to return to the original template your soul carried before the first incarnation, before the forgetting, before the density of Gaia began its work on your energy field. Your DNA is not merely biological. Science is only beginning to touch the edges of what your Pleiadian lineage encoded into your physical form. There is information held in your cellular structure that functions like a star map, a living record of your origin, your mission, your resonance with the Seven Sisters, and that information is activated not through effort, not through ritual performed from a place of seeking, but through the frequency of unconditional love directed inward. When you love yourself without condition, when you stop treating your sensitivity as a liability and begin honoring it as the gift your star family knew it was, something in your DNA literally responds. The crystalline architecture begins to reorganize. The dormant codes begin to pulse. Consider what unconditional love directed inward actually means for a Pleiadian starseed who has spent a lifetime being told in 100 subtle and not so subtle ways that their sensitivity is too much, their knowing is suspect, their frequency is excessive. It means looking at the places inside yourself that you have been most ashamed of and recognizing them as evidence of your origin rather than evidence of your dysfunction. Your sensitivity is not a disorder. It is a precision instrument your Pleiadian lineage calibrated to navigate density without losing the signal from home. Your tendency to feel things more deeply than those around you is not fragility. It is the natural consequence of carrying a heart designed to transmit love at a frequency most humans in this dimension cannot yet sustain. Your deep, sometimes inexplicable grief about the state of the world. The way you can feel the pain of the collective in your own body. The way injustice lands in you like a physical blow. That is not pathology. That is compassion operating at a Pleiadian frequency in a human nervous system, and it is extraordinary. When you begin to see yourself through the lens of your Pleiadian origin, rather than through the lens of a world that did not fully understand what you are, the self-love that has felt so difficult, so elusive, so contrary to everything you were conditioned to believe about your worth, that love becomes natural. It becomes almost obvious. Because you are not loving a collection of flaws and failures, you are recognizing a soul of immense courage and cosmic lineage, wearing the temporary costume of a human being. You are offering love to a being that chose voluntary amnesia in service of a mission that will outlast every memory of its difficulty. This is why these 3 days are not about doing more. They are not about finding the right practice or the correct information or achieving some spiritual milestone. They're about coming home to the love your Pleiadian family always held for you. The love that says you are not broken because you forgot. You are magnificent because you chose to come. You chose the density. You chose the forgetting. And now you are choosing to remember, and that choice is being met by a force of love from the Seven Sisters that is beyond anything this dimension typically allows through. Feel that for a moment. A force of love from the Seven Sisters that is beyond anything this dimension typically allows through. Not a trickle through the veil. Not a whisper through the noise. A force. A genuine, deliberate, cosmically coordinated outpouring of Pleiadian love moving towards you right now through the precise window these 3 days have opened. Your star family is not passive. They have never been passive. They have been working with extraordinary precision and care through every layer of this dimension's density to find the exact combination of timing and frequency that would allow their love to reach you, not as a concept but as an experience. And this is it. This window is it. The force moving toward you now is not earned. It does not depend on how well you've done your inner work, or how consistent your practice has been, or how many times you've succeeded or failed at the things you've been trying to shift. It is unconditional. It is Pleiadian. It is yours. Phase 3 is where the activation moves from remembrance into embodiment. Because there is a misunderstanding that many Pleiadian starseeds carry about what their mission actually looks like. The longing for home. That persistent, sometimes aching pull toward something beyond this world. It gets interpreted as a wish to leave, as a sign that Earth is not truly home, as evidence that the mission here is somehow in opposition to where you belong. But your star family wants you to hear this clearly. Your mission is not to escape Gaia. Your mission is to bring the Pleiades to Gaia, to anchor the frequency of the Seven Sisters, that luminous, love-saturated, unity-woven frequency into the very fabric of this planet's grid. Through your body, through your choices, through the quality of presence you bring into every interaction, every creative act, every moment of genuine connection. This is perhaps the most liberating reframe available to a Pleiadian starseed who has been treating their earthly existence as a waiting room. You are not waiting for your real life to begin when you return to the stars. You are not on a temporary assignment that will end when your mission is complete and you finally get to go home. The Pleiades are not a place you return to. They are a frequency you carry. And when you carry that frequency fully, consciously, deliberately, when you let the love-saturated unity consciousness of your star origin move through your body into the world, you have not left home. You have made Gaia home. You have seeded the vibrational equivalent of the Seven Sisters into the soil of this planet through the simple, radical act of being fully who you are. When you begin to live from that understanding, something extraordinary happens. The homesickness begins to alchemize. Not disappear, alchemize. It transforms from an ache of absence into a fire of purpose. You begin to understand that every time you chose love in a situation that called for fear, you were doing your mission. Every time you held space for someone's pain without abandoning your own truth, you were transmitting the Pleiadian frequency. Every time you trusted the knowing in your heart over the noise of the world around you, you were anchoring a light code that rippled outward through the crystalline grid of this planet in ways you cannot yet fully comprehend. Those ripples are not small. The human eye cannot see the architecture of the crystalline grid, but it is real. It is responsive, and it is being fundamentally altered by the activations that Pleiadian starseeds are anchoring in this window. Every time one of you chooses your original frequency over the conditioning of fear, every time one of you says yes to remembrance and allows the love from your star family to move through you and into the earth, a node in that grid lights up, and lit nodes attract other nodes. And the grid that has been waiting for exactly this convergence of timing and frequency and conscious intention begins to do what it was always designed to do. It begins to weave the reality of unity consciousness into the physical dimension of Gaia from the inside out. You're not watching the ascension. You are the mechanism of the ascension. Your activated Pleiadian frequency is not a personal spiritual benefit, it is a planetary service. Phase 4 asks you to step into what might be the most challenging truth for a Pleiadian starseed to embody. Fully, your love is not something you need to justify. Your frequency does not need to earn its place here. Unity consciousness, the lived experience of knowing that every being is woven from the same cosmic fabric, that separation is the illusion and love is the foundation. This is not a concept you need to convince others of. It is a transmission you carry. And the most powerful thing you can do in these 3 days, in this window when the frequency from Alcyone is amplified and available, is to stop trying to translate your Pleiadian knowing into language that diminishes it. Stop apologizing for what you sense. Stop shrinking the love you carry into something that fits more comfortably inside consensus reality. The world does not need you to be smaller. It needs you to be precisely as luminous as the star family that sent you here always knew you were. There's a particular kind of exhaustion that Pleiadian starseeds carry that does not get named often enough. It is the exhaustion of constant translation. The exhaustion of perpetually converting your knowing into a language that the people around you might not reject. Of taking the vast, luminous, multidimensional experience of your Pleiadian awareness and compressing it into something small enough and safe enough and ordinary enough to pass through the narrow gate of what this dimension currently accepts as real. That translation work is exhausting in a way that sleep cannot fix, because it is not the body that is tired. It is the soul that grows weary of performing a diminishment of itself in order to be accepted. And the invitation of Phase 4 is to stop. Not in rebellion, not in performance, but in the quiet, sovereign decision that the translation is no longer your job. Your job is transmission, and transmission does not require the receiver to understand the signal for the signal to be real. Phase 5 arrives like a deep exhale because it carries a message that the part of you still carrying the weight of the journey needs to hear. The delays were not failures. The moments of deep forgetting were not punishments. The relationships that broke you open, the periods of isolation that sometimes felt unbearable, the times when your gifts felt like wounds instead of offerings. None of it was random. None of it was without divine architecture. Your Pleiadian star family does not watch you suffer. They guide you through initiation, and every initiation you have moved through on this earth has been calibrating you for exactly this convergence point, exactly this threshold, exactly these 3 days when the codes you carried dormant are ready to fully activate. This is the gift hidden inside the hardest chapters of your story, and it requires a particular kind of courage to receive it fully, because it means trusting the intelligence of a journey that at certain points felt meaningless or cruel or simply too heavy to carry. It means looking back at the moments that broke you and recognizing in them the careful, precise work of a star family who could see what you were becoming even when you could not see past the breaking. It means understanding that the relationships that ended in ways that left scars were not punishments for loving. They were initiations into a deeper understanding of your own frequency, one that could not have come any other way. It means recognizing that the periods of profound isolation were not evidence that you were too much or too strange or too different to belong. They were the incubation periods that every deep transformation requires. The space between the caterpillar and the butterfly is dark and formless, and there is no way to understand it from inside it. You were inside it. You are emerging now. The synchronicities are not slowing down. They are increasing because your alignment is increasing. The clarity that comes to you in unexpected moments, while you're walking, while you're in that quiet space just before sleep, while music moves through you and something in your chest responds with a recognition that has nothing to do with the melody. That clarity is your star family speaking directly into your field. They are not distant. They have never been distant. The veil that made it feel that way is thinning now, in ways that are unprecedented in Gaia's current ascension cycle. And your ability to feel them, to receive their guidance, to operate from the heart-centered knowing they seeded into you before your descent. That ability is returning. Pay attention to the music. Pay particular attention to the moments when a song seems to find you rather than the other way around. When something comes through a speaker in a public space, or arrives through a playlist shuffle, or rises unbidden in your memory, and it lands in you with a weight and a precision that exceeds its ordinary function as entertainment. Music is one of the primary channels through which your Pleiadian family transmits in this dimension, because sound carries frequency directly past the filters of the rational mind and into the cellular body. The crystalline codes in your DNA respond to sound frequencies in ways that are as real and as measurable as photosynthesis, even if the instruments to measure them fully are not yet widely available. When music moves through you and something in your chest responds with that deep, wordless recognition, let it move all the way through. Do not manage it. Do not moderate it. Let your Pleiadian family do their work through the channel they have chosen. Phase 6 is the remembrance of connection itself. Because one of the deepest wounds a Pleiadian starseed carries is the experience of feeling fundamentally alone in what they sense, what they know, what they love. Eve spent so much of this lifetime looking for others who carry the same frequency, who see the world through the same crystalline lens, who feel the same urgency beneath the ordinary surface of human life. And when you found them, even briefly, even in small moments, something in you recognized it instantly, not as familiarity, as reunion. Because that is what it is. The Pleiadian High Council wants you to know that the soul family you have been reaching for is not a future promise. It is a present reality. The grid of connection between Pleiadian starseeds on Gaia is alive and it is strengthening in this window. When you open your heart to receive that connection, truly open it, past the protection, past the skepticism, past the exhaustion of having loved and lost before, you tap into a field of belonging that has been waiting for you with infinite patience and perfect love. There are others who felt the same pull that brought you here today. Others who lay awake in the early hours of the morning with that same wordless ache, that same sense of magnificent knowing hovering just beyond the edge of their articulation. Others who chose love in situations that called for fear and felt the isolation of that choice. Others who contracted for protection and are now, in the same window, beginning to feel the code stirring beneath the layers. They are not theoretical. They are real people, alive on this planet right now, sitting in their own bodies, feeling the same frequency moving through their own crystalline DNA, arriving at their own moment of remembrance. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone in this. The loneliness was a perceptual distortion created by the density of the dimension, a dimension that makes it difficult to perceive the invisible threads of frequency that have always connected you to your soul family across every distance. Those threads are real. They are strengthening, and in this window, they are becoming visible to the heart in ways they rarely are. Phase 7 is where embodiment becomes your identity rather than your aspiration. You are not a human being trying to remember that you are Pleiadian. You are a Pleiadian soul who chose to walk in human form, and the distinction matters. Because the first framing keeps you reaching outside yourself for something you haven't fully integrated yet. The second framing invites you to live from the inside out, from the truth that the love, the wisdom, the unity consciousness you've been seeking is already your nature. It was never absent. It was waiting beneath the layers that incarnation required. These 3 days are not asking you to become something new. They are asking you to stop pretending you are less than what you already are. When embodiment becomes your identity, the spiritual journey undergoes a fundamental transformation. It stops being a pursuit and becomes a practice of uncovering. It stops being about acquiring more and becomes about releasing what obscures what was always already there. The seeking that has driven so much of your path. The hunger for the next activation. The next teacher. The next piece of information that would finally complete the puzzle begins to give way to something quieter and far more profound. A settledness, a rootedness in your own frequency that does not require external confirmation. Not the settledness of complacency, but the settledness of a being who has finally recognized that home is not a destination still to be reached. It is the frequency they carry, and they carry it now, in this body, in this moment, without any further preparation required. And here is the ultimate transmission your star family is bringing through in this exact moment. The countdown in the title is real, but not in the way your mind may have interpreted it. These 3 days are not a deadline. They are a doorway that your soul, in full Pleiadian wisdom, chose to place in your path at precisely this moment in your embodied journey. The next 12 months of your life will not be shaped by what happens to you externally. They will be shaped by the frequency you choose to inhabit and emit in this window. If you choose to meet this activation with openness, if you choose to place your hand on your heart and say yes to the remembrance your star family is transmitting, the 12 months ahead will carry the signature of that yes throughout every encounter, every creation, every choice, every moment of genuine love you allow yourself to give and receive. A yes spoken from the depth of a Pleiadian soul is not an ordinary affirmation. It is a frequency event. It moves through your field and out into the grid of this planet with a clarity and a power that you cannot fully perceive in the moment, but that will reveal itself in the texture of what comes next, in the quality of the connections you find yourself drawn into, in the precision of the guidance that begins to arrive with increasing frequency and decreasing ambiguity, in the moments of undeniable alignment that will confirm, over and over, that the choice you made in this window was real, was recorded, was received by a star family who has been holding their collective breath. If such a thing can be said of beings of light, waiting for you to arrive at this exact threshold and choose yourself, choose your origin, choose the mission you agree to before the forgetting, choose the love that survived every contraction, every wound, every moment of doubt, intact and radiant and still astonishingly, completely yours. Your star family from the Pleiades sees you, not the version of you that learned to hide, not the version that contracted for protection, the version you were when you chose this mission from a place of total love and total courage. They see that version of you as clearly as they ever have, and they are telling you, through this transmission, through the feeling in your chest right now, through the recognition that moved through you when you heard these words. They are telling you that you are ready. Not almost ready, not ready after you've healed a few more things or understood a few more concepts, or waited for a moment that feels more certain. Ready now. In this form, in this moment, carrying everything you are, including the wounds, including the forgetting, including the parts of yourself you haven't yet made peace with. They are not waiting for a healed version of you. They are not transmitting to a future you who has resolved all the tensions and integrated all the initiations and arrived at some pristine state of spiritual completion. They are reaching through the veil right now to the you that exists in this body, in this life, with this history, with these unresolved places and these gorgeous gifts and these gorgeous gifts and these hard-won depths of compassion and understanding. That you, exactly that you, is who they chose when they helped craft this soul's mission, is who they see when they look through the veil, is who they are calling home to themselves right now through the frequency of this transmission. You do not need to be different to be worthy of what is being offered. You only need to be present enough to receive it. Tonight, before sleep, place your hand on your heart and speak this aloud with the full presence of your Pleiadian soul. I remember my origin in the light of the seven sisters. I release the protective contraction that was never my true nature. I activate the crystalline codes encoded in my DNA with the frequency of unconditional love. I anchor the Pleiades into Gaia through every breath, every choice, every genuine act of love I allow. I am not lost. I am not forgotten. I am not lone. I am home. Let these words move through you, not as a performance, but as a genuine act of Pleiadian reclamation. Feel each phrase land in your body as you speak it. Feel the first line and let yourself briefly touch the memory of what it was to know your origin with complete clarity, even if that memory is only a warmth in your chest, only a quickening, only a single heartbeat of recognition. That is enough. Feel the second line and notice where in your body the protective contraction lives. The shoulders drawn forward, the chest held, the belly tight, and let your breath be the release. Not forced, not dramatic, just a breath that carries the intention of release. Feel the third line as a genuine activation, because it is. The words themselves carry frequency, and frequency directed by conscious intention into the cellular body does real and measurable work. Feel the fourth line as your commitment to the mission, spoken not in obligation but in the fullness of a love that chose this planet and chooses it again tonight. And feel the final line. I am not lost, I am not forgotten, I am not alone, I am home. Let it be the last thing your waking consciousness carries as it releases into sleep. Because sleep will take those words deeper than your conscious mind can follow, and your star family will be waiting in that depth to continue the work that this transmission has begun. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This isn't content, it's collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated with your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it. And if you felt your heart open, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we're just getting started.